Welcome back, everybody. This is today's video is potato and leek soup. We are going to go ahead and get started with that. If you've seen the videos before, first thing you know, always read your recipe, check your mise en place. Okay, I've already done that. One of the very first things that we're going to do today is go ahead and peel your potato and work on your. This is a great way to work on your knife skills. In the recipe it says slice. We may change that to dice, however. So what I'm going to do is just show you how to do a couple different knife cuts, and then we'll take the potatoes and take the recipe from there. So I always like to take my potatoes because if you're in a restaurant, you're in the industry, you're always looking for speed and efficiency. So what I do is what I learned over the years is take the ends off, just like this. And now I take and connect the dots, just like this. Goes nice and quick. Only takes a couple minutes to peel it. Now this recipe is a great recipe to do ahead of time, like maybe the night before. Soups are always better to do them a day or two ahead because the flavors sit up and marry and have time to really blend together in the refrigerator overnight. So if you've got time, go ahead and make this recipe a day or two ahead of when you want to make it, or at least prep the vegetables the night before, which then makes your this process probably about a 30-minute process, the way we're going to do it today. So what I like to do is when you do your knife cuts, you got a round potato, try to make it nice and safe. So what you want to do is cut the edge off so it's nice and flat, it doesn't roll around. The next step, I want to cut this into slabs, just like this. Notice I'm holding my hand down here as a knife cut, as the claw. My fingertips are not out. The next step is I'm going to take one of the slabs and cut it into bâtonnets, just like this, or French fries for all of those out there. And now, holding my fingers like this, I'm going to dice it up. Okay, make sure. Notice my knife is going forward in a rocking motion. The tip of my knife is not ever leaving the cutting board. I'm not doing that, right? You don't want to do that. That's a good way to lose your fingertips. Let's do that again. You got to watch sometimes the starch on the potato. See it on my knife. Tends to make it stick a little bit, so you just have to be careful. That's why making this motion works really well. Sliding your knife forward in a rocking motion. Okay. Now with this recipe, the good thing is the smaller you cut your potatoes, the faster they're going to cook. So you see, when I cut down into strips, I'm pushing my knife down and then I'm holding the potatoes down, because if you don't, the starch sticks to your knife and they tend to pop up all over the place, and then you're spending time putting them back together. Rocking motion, nice. Take your time, keep your fingertips back. Okay. Notice my fingertips are back like this. My thumb and my pinky are tucked underneath. These are the two that tend to get, forgotten. You're out there like this, and then the next thing you know, your tip is under the knife, and you're getting cut and spending the day in first aid and not actually cooking. Okay. There we go. Everything's nice and diced up. Now I'm going to add these to the second potato in the recipe that I've already done ahead of time for my mise en place to speed things up. Okay. The next step for this is going to be cutting your leeks. Your leeks in this video, you'll see, are nice and long like this. Okay, I got these at the store. They're not looking the best. We're going to trim off the greens, and we're going to save that for our compost out in the garden. And this is the root end. This piece has ends. This grows in the ground just like that. Okay. What you want to do with your leeks leeks they grow in layers. Typically, when they're grown commercially, they grow in very sandy soil. So as they grow up, they tend to get sand in between the layers. So when you are cutting your leeks, before you go and put it in your soup, it is very, very important that you wash them really, really well, okay? Get that sand out. So what I do is cut them into manageable sizes. Again, we don't want, you can use the tops, but we're not going to use them in this recipe, so we're going to set those aside. We're going to cut them in half lengthwise like this. So I don't know if you can see on the camera, but I can see some dirt on this one in between the layers. There's a little bit of sand, a little bit of dirt. Go ahead and cut those in half again. Now the good thing about leeks is they grow naturally already in those strips that we had to cut the potato into, right? So now all you got to do is turn them lengthwise like this and then dice them, okay? Again, claw, knuckles are out, fingertips are back, rocking motion, okay? Chopping up these leeks. All right, now, I don't know if you can see on this leaf, there was some dirt there. That's what you don't want in your soup. Now, I'm not gonna use this. I've already got some leeks that has been already washed up, and they're right here, okay? One final step while we're all cutting and prepping. I'm gonna take our chives for our garnish. Again, if you have anything on your blade, you wanna push your fingers away from the edge so you don't cut yourself, okay? Gonna use, this is a potato and leek soup. Leeks are an onion. Chives are garnish, but chive is also an onion. It's part of the onion family. It's an herb, but it's part of that onion family. Okay, I'm not going to use those tops. I'll use this nice chiffonade, diced up pile of chives for garnish. All right, now we are ready for how to make the soup, putting it together. First thing you want to do is get your pot hot. You want to melt your butter, not too hot. You don't want to burn it. Go ahead and put your butter into your pot. And once your butter's melted, we're going to go ahead and saute up your leeks. Okay, saute is a term, one of your cooking terms. It means to cook with high heat, a little bit of fat. So in this preparation, I'm using the term saute as a way for you to understand that I'm going to cook the leeks first. What we're going to do is just put them in here, get them nice and sauteed in the butter so they're good to go. I'm going to add the leeks right in. Now you'll notice what I did was I rinsed the leeks first. Okay, you always rinse them first. Remember the dirt that was in it. Some of you will have a colander like this at home. That's fine. I happen to have this one. I like this one. It's got a handle. It does the same thing. Drain it. If you were going to rinse them, you would just put it in a bowl, let the water drain out for a little while. Otherwise, you get water in your soup. Water is not going to add any flavor, and it also could create some splashing, or the oil in the butter could pop, and then you don't want that. Okay? Get this. What you want to do is get your leeks. Sorry, onions. Get your leeks cooked a little bit, cooked through. And what we call that is translucent. Translucent is right where you can kind of start to see through it a little bit, where you don't want to get too much color on your onions, on your leeks in this demo. Okay. At this stage, I'm going to add just a little bit salt and pepper. This is white pepper. Soup. It's important to add your flavors as you go, your seasonings as you go when you're building a soup, because you want those flavors to build. All right. Now the next thing, and this is getting to be just about right. See how it's starting to get a little bit of color on it? I'm going to turn the heat down on this, and then I'm going to go ahead and drain off my potatoes that I had cooked off. Get that water out of there. Now our potatoes and leeks have cooked in the chicken stock. What I'm going to do now is strain off the liquid, because we'd like to take, now this step to me, I feel, is completely optional. You're more than welcome to leave your potatoes like this and eat the soup the way it is, or continue with these next couple steps and you'll have a creamy soup instead of one that's got like chunks in it. All right, so what I did was I drained off the last of the liquid. We're still going to use that. Don't throw it away, save it. Now we're going to take our spoon and kind of mash up our potatoes. Press them up against the side of the bowl. What that does is releases the starch, makes it nice and soft. If you have a blender, you're more than welcome to use a blender to put. If you use a blender, keep the liquid in with the potatoes and leek. That way it doesn't get all gummy, and then you'll make a nice smooth puree. I'm just taking and mashing this up just a little bit. I'll bring this over here onto the cutting board just so you can kind of see a little bit better. See how it's getting almost to be like mashed potatoes. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add back in our cooking liquid, because it's still got a decent amount of starch in it from the cooking from the potatoes, and that's going to help keep it nice and creamy. And then as you mash a little bit more, it gets nice and smooth a little bit, like that. Okay. Now at this stage, you can cool it down, put it in your fridge, or add a little bit of heavy cream to it. If you want to eat your soup hot, warm your heavy cream up first. You can either put it in the microwave for like 30-40 seconds until it gets nice and warm, or you can heat it up on your stove, put it in your soup. I'm using the cold cream to help bring down the temperature, because I'm going to just put this right back into the fridge, let it set overnight, and I'm going to enjoy this soup tomorrow after it has a nice chance to sit up overnight. All the flavors come together. I'm going to go ahead and stick this in an ice bath, cool it down to your proper temperature of 41 degrees. I'm going to take and test flavors first before I do that. That's good. And a little bit of salt, and a little bit more pepper. Give it a nice stir. And that's it. Cream of potato and leek soup. There you go. This is a 2-ounce ladle. That was 3 ladles, so 6 ounces. It's a nice portion, 6 to 8 ounces, a little bit of chive. There you go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.